Hi everyone, I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I would like to welcome you all back to my channel on YouTube, Spirit to Spirit Teaching the Going Within Self, on TikTok, 1974 Enlightened Soul. However, I'm still not able to go live on my TikTok because I'm still suspended. But I am also live on my Facebook. If you're new to my channel, I always suggest or encourage, recommend that people go in and read the description on my YouTube channel to get a better understanding of what it is that I bring forward on my channel for the content I have you. As some of you know, I use a lot of my life experiences to come forward with. And, I read certain things and bring certain things forward, and when I read it and I question it and I come to the truth of it all, what it's really trying to tell us. My body will go through a lot of violent reactions, and that's telling that it's truth. And my journey, it's been spirit's been guiding me and teaching me and showing me things, not only within the world but mainly within myself, because that's what I had to do. I had to go inward. Now, a lot of people that knew me in my past, they look at me and I know sometimes it's like, yeah, well, like, who do you think you are? Well, I am Tara. That's who I am. I'm not the same person that you knew in school. Some parts of me is. The ones that when I was in school, I would stand up to a bully, and then I became uh, in different forms of relationships that kind of suppressed me, and different things throughout my life experiences, and it gave me the opportunity to really look and see how, as men and women, we've actually been treating one another and talking to one another. And it doesn't just go as like men talking about women or women talking about men. It's also men talk about other men, and women talk about other women. And I totally get that. And I see it and I understand, because, it does. It works both ways. Like, I'm going to be honest, my ex-husband, he said that, you're not talking to people like telepathically and what have you. And yesterday we were in the car, and we got, like, we conflict a lot, because I have, like, there's spirits that come to me, whether people want to believe that or not, and they got a beef with him. And then there's ones that go to him that have a beef with me. They're mostly, as far as I know, they're masculine men. I felt that release. So that's what that tells me. So yesterday we kind of got into it, and I feel the rage in myself, and I don't hate him, but I know that there are spirits that hate forms of his spirit. And when I told him, like, oh man, you really got someone here that really hates you. And he was like, yeah, well, tell him to go fuck off. So it's something about me still talking to him. And that he told me that he spit in this person's face. He said that the person deserved it. Okay, I'll be honest with you. We shouldn't be spitting in anybody's face, no matter whether you think that somebody deserves it or not. To my ex-husband, he actually could have charged you, or whoever it was, that you spit in the face. I had an experience one time. I had been away, and I come back to the house, and somebody was storming off. And I went in and I found out that somebody had spit in my mother's face and also smashed the the glass in the storm door. And I was going to go after them. It was a man who did it. And I was going to go after him. But the other person there wouldn't let me. It's that part of, if you stand there and watch somebody spit in someone's face and you do nothing about it, that's where we need to take a look at ourselves. Because it's totally uncalled for. And this, my ex-husband, it's like, how would you like it if somebody spit in your face and later you found out you had fucking AIDS or something? Seriously. Just the other day, he said about like the amount of AIDS and what have you. So it's a part of, hey, would you want it done to you? Whether that person felt that you deserve to have a spit in your face? It's that part of, having an inner look at ourselves, which is really hard to do sometimes. So my ex-husband, he's always talking about women and shooting women down. And there's a lot of this stuff going on about radical feminists. Those radical feminists are the ones that's destroying the true feminist meaning to it. And it could, it's not just radical women feminists, it's radical men feminists too. Because it's about finding that balance, what the true feminism is. It's finding that balance of both your masculine and feminine. It's not about going out and bashing one another, because men bash women. And that's the part of the far right, far left. You're dealing with it with Donald Trump right now. And oh, that's a taboo. Don't talk about that. Seriously. He downgrades women. I put videos, I've done a live video about it where he's very vulgar about women, and he was married to he had just married Melania, and he was talking about going and I'll say the word he used, fucking other women, or talking about their PUSSY, and saying that, hey, if you're the fame or what have you, they'll easily do it. And he was just ignorant of it. Because when I first got with him, I'm not with him now, but when I first got with him, he said he couldn't stand how ignorant people could be when they burp. And he's the most ignorantest person that I've met when it comes to burping. Little hypocritical, and you talk, he talks about other people, whether it would be a man or a woman, and I don't care if he likes me. It's not what I say on here is nothing that I don't say to him. And people say, well, why are you still around him? Well, let's see. Because in order to get a place, even a one bedroom, you're looking at roughly 1,500. And I'm not gonna go rent a room somewhere with a stranger because I've done that, and it was a nightmare. And he was the same way as my ex-husband, 'cause I was boarding there when I went up to Alberta. He was the same way. So my ex-husband, he wears this, buffalo skin. It's to do with something about, like, a new thing that's come out with regards to protecting women and children, and it's that part of, man, until you really understand what that represents, you should not be fucking committed to your clothes. You may wear that, but you're not that. So it's that part of, I don't just come on here and talk about him. If any of you know my channel, I talk about myself too. See, the thing is, when you talk about the opposite sex or the same sex, but you have no clue why they are the way they are. Yes, I was narcissists, but narcissists were not born narcissists, as some people think they were. Narcissism is a learned behavior, like every other behavior. And see, my ex-husband told me sometimes you need to speak their language. So I guess in order to go up against a narcissist, you have to speak the same language as them. But it's that part of, to speak the same language as them. How do you protect yourself from being one yourself? Right? Because then it becomes a learned behavior. It's all in how you go about doing it. Because most people don't like seeing versions of themselves, whether you're a man or a woman. You know, I know that there's likely women out there talking about me. Good, you know, you're probably not saying something that I didn't already put in the videos. Or maybe, there's some things that you're saying about me that's not true. See, when I come in and do my videos, I'm not coming in and doing my lives and stuff like that to shame someone, insult them, or what have you. It's that part of where we need to look inward. Because I had borrowed long ago, I had borrowed $25 from somebody. And it just like it had slipped my mind, $25. But I ended up giving back to him. And then, I had the same person I lent them about, about the same, and I still haven't gotten it back yet. But it's that part of, I'm not worried about it. But there's another person that, I was helping them out, and I lent them $1,000. I didn't just lend them $1,000. I also gave them some of my labor by helping them with the reason why I lent them $1,000 so they could come and then get rid of some stuff so that they could have more money and get rid of a storage unit. This isn't to shame them or anything like that, but it's to say that that same person said about money that they lent to somebody else to take a course or something like that, and they never got it back. That's the part where we need to look inward and see where, you know, we're talking about somebody else doing it to us, but yet we're doing it to someone else. So how are you any better than the person that done it to you if you're doing it to someone else? It wasn't that I couldn't use that money because I could have used it, but I chose to use it to help someone when I was supposed to get it back. See, originally, because I didn't have the $1,000 at right at that moment, I borrowed it from my ex-husband for this person. But part of me felt like, I'm going to pay him back. I'm going to give him the money when I got it. I gave him the money when I got it because I sold my trailer, my camper trailer, and it was $1,000 out of my camper trailer. And I gave it to my ex-husband so that, if it did come about that the person didn't give the money back, then I wouldn't have to listen to him about it. Because see, what people do to him, it gets taken out on me. And then I got to deal with it. Here we are 25 years later from the time I met him. And he's still going on about stuff from his previous marriage. He's still carrying the debt from his previous marriage because instead of getting rid of debt, he keeps making more for himself and then blaming me for it. I didn't make no debt with him. I may not contribute a lot to him, but I contribute a lot of energy, and I put up with a lot of fucking shit from him. See, it's that part, he will talk about other men about the way, like, okay, there's an ethnic group, okay? He says of how nasty they are to women. It's that part of, honestly, in many ways, you're no fucking different. You may not beat me, but you are mentally and emotionally abusive and verbally. Sometimes I can get, well, I don't get verbally abusive. I just respond back, mirroring what he just gave to me. Yo totally, si no to pureșa la que se real, e că tu pure que te aprecio de mutate. See, it's that part of, like, whether you're a man bashing a woman or a woman bashing a man, or a man bashing a man or a woman bashing a woman. It's that part of, you might want to have a look. We might want to have a look at ourselves. I won't say you might, because I had to look. Wasn't that I was bashing women per se? And I still don't bash men. And I don't bash women. Because I have to look at myself. See if I should actually loathe men. I don't like men. But I do like a gentleman. There's a difference. Same as there's a difference with a woman and a lady. A woman can be more of the one that, had carried the child, and, with that, and same as a woman is much the same as a man. They just have the womb. But a lady is like a gentleman. They see the balance. A lady can actually become both the role of the male and the female. It's like the two-spirited. And if you look in the indigenous community, the native community, what have you, the two-spirited, you, like, there was this man who was he said about being two-spirited, but he wore a dress. That's like much like a transgender without the surgery. And I truly recommend that you not have surgery or take any medication to manipulate your body, because you're only hurting yourself. It's okay to perceive yourself, but trying to change your physical body because you're not comfortable in it, it's because you're not balanced within yourself, and you're trying in many ways to get other people to understand what it is that you're trying to express. We are born in a male or female body, and men will fight with women about that, and vice versa. Because right now, Donald Trump is doing that thing with regards to transgender. Do I, and with, I've heard about with regards to the military. Do I feel that, you know, to do the switchover? Should it be covered through medical care? I'm going to be honest, no, I don't. And why I don't is because that is a choice. It's a choice to have that done. And I can feel that right now. A lot of people don't like me for saying that. But once you do it, you cannot go back and change it. You can try, but it'd never be the same. And people say, "Well, I don't want to change it back." It's that part of, when you're transgender and you're struggling with that of wanting to change your body. It's that part of sitting with someone and explaining to yourself why it is you really want to change your body. Is it because you get treated differently? Because if that's the case, then that's not that's not the, that's not a really a good reason to do it. And right now, there's a lot of that going back and forth. People are agreeing with Donald Trump about only having two genders or what have you. We have two different body types. Some people are gay, some people are lesbian, some people are straight. It is both, whether it be the man or the woman. You just put another label on it. Be proud of your body and know that your body isn't what makes your true inner identity, but it doesn't mean that you have to change the look of it. My ex-husband will say about that women don't want to do the men's jobs. They don't want to get up on the high wire and stuff like that. It's like, hey, do you all women are afraid of heights? Because you probably may even find that there are less women afraid of heights than men. We went over a bridge here, not this summer, but the previous summer. And I used to be afraid of heights. When I was 15 and I was pregnant for my oldest, we went over to Cape Smoky and we were looking over the edge. It was fine looking in, but then my dad, he went over the side of it. He stepped over the fence thing. And when he come back over, because he wanted to get a better look, when he come back over, right after he come back over, ground had dropped out from where he had been standing. And I think that was the moment then when I had that fear of heights. And I had that fear of heights until like it was about 2 years ago or thereabouts. We went to this place and we were on the bridge and we heard a vehicle coming and he basically damn near ran to get off the bridge because, let me tell you, when I was on that bridge, it was a little freaky when it was actually not a car. It was a truck with a trailer. And I was standing over and when it was kind of, I was standing and I was kind of like looking over like that and kind of going like that. And then all of a sudden, like the truck was coming and I leaned into the rail and I put one arm Like I put one arm up through the rail and I put one over and I held on. I didn't grab my drawers though, but I just happened. I was like, oh, okay. But here, and then I don't know. It was before. I think it was just before that. We were somewhere, and somebody had taken us to look at a baby. And I'll be honest, I really didn't appreciate the joke, whether you really wanted to do it or not. I was standing by the edge of this cliff because we came to see, but there was a big gully, like it was way down. You ever saw the Marvel movie where that I forget, he was the bad guy in it, and he had all the crystals or stones, and he pushed his daughter over the edge. Well, this person took me and went like that and grabbed me back as though they were going to push me off the cliff. I didn't find that funny. And then another day, they were here and they pretended they were going to push me off of the um, we have a little loft type thing, and they pretended that they were going to push me off the loft. But see, when I pretended back that I was going to push them off the loft, they got their nose in the joint. Get the Poirier. So it was like, I forgive them for that, and I forgive like everybody else for the things that happened. My ex-husband, now I struggle a lot with forgiving him because he's the one who put me through the most. So that's why the universe, spirit, has put me back. I left and you wouldn't let me go. Come around. So it's that part of, hey, the universe is saying that, in order to be set free, you need to face your demon. And I right now I have a feeling of people being very still. It's like the part of sitting with it. Que solo puedo que no solo aquí se puede. And me dijo que quiet up. See this war between the masculine and feminine, and then a feminine to a feminine, or a masculine to a masculine. It's been going on for eons. Well, and many millenniums, because in Atlantis it was happening then too. And before that, there's a lot of stuff that's been suppressed and hid away of women who have invented many things, but has been stolen by the masculine and said that it was theirs. See, I will take you like back because I question a lot. I question a lot the part of in biblical times when they said about the crucifixion. Okay, where books have been manipulated and the history has been manipulated and what have you. I ask the question sometimes. of where it was in a man's world. Almost like, why would a man's world, Yeshua or Jesus, which, there were two different people because Yeshua was Christos and Jesus was Zeus. And I did it the other day with regards to this woman perceiving Melania's signals as being Zorro, but it's not Zorro, it's actually representing Zeus. I now know that, when I gave my ex-husband symbol, it represents Zeus. So it's like, am I telling him that I know that it's a form of him? Because I also say that I could swear that, he's an older version of my oldest son. And, some people took offense to that because I said my oldest son. That's what he is. He's not my brother, whether there may be a piece of paper or not. See, certain things I've been coming to realize too, that look at the name Christopher. You could look at it as Christopher meaning crucifier, or to crucify her. Oh shit! So did they crucify Mary Magdalene? And said it was a man? Because, like with some, with regards to it being a man, the way they say right now is they don't care so much about what happens to a man. But if they found out it was a woman, what would happen then? You have all this, the feminists, like some, like they look as Mary, the mother, the God, the goddess. Some religions look that, see it that way. Certain Christians don't. But there was two different types of Christians. And it was the man against the woman, the dogma against the Christmas. The dogma is the masculine, which is the ego, and the Christ consciousness is the feminine, which is the balance, where the heart, the empathy, and the ego coming together. The ego is the one side of the brain. You have the masculine on one side and the feminine on the other. Some, there's a controversy. Some say that the masculine is on the left side and the feminine is the right side. Some say that the feminine is the right side and the masculine is the left side. I went into the story yesterday, and partners at the register. And I started talking and it come out. And this young girl, she asked me if she had like demons around her or anything. And I told her like that, no, it's not demons, but you do have an attachment. And I told her that the spirit's telling me that you know exactly who I'm talking about. And I was right. She knows. And I told her there's a difference between what we perceive to be a demon and what we perceive to be an attachment. Attachment is something or someone else that attaches its piece of its spirit to you. And a demon is what we manifest from our our traumatic experiences, whether it's ours or that has been passed down through our ancestral line, through our lineage. So when this stuff takes place, my ex-husband, you'll say about these men, but man, I've heard you talk about women. To the one to the guy that sexually assaulted you. You both had some dirty words. Using expressions as old dog's cock or something like that. It's like, seriously? You know what? My language, oh, well, that's not very good language coming from a woman. Well, you know what? It's not very fucking appropriate language coming from a real man, well, which would be a gentleman, and neither one of them were fucking gentlemen. Because my ex will say about like wearing these pins about protecting women and children. But when I told him that that guy, the one that sexually assaulted me, after I told him no, that I didn't want to anymore, I told my ex-husband 2 or 3 times that when we were gone away and he left him here in the house, up in his place, he came down to my home and entered my home. And how do I know? Because I wasn't stupid and I laid fucking traps. That's how I knew. And each time I told my ex-husband, oh, I'll deal with that. I'll like he ain't coming back. Oh, yeah. But he kept bringing him back. And why? Because he liked the attention. He wanted somebody to give him attention, somebody to look up to him. Well, dude, you're going to put it all wrong because, you know, a real gentleman don't look up to a man like you. He's getting better. But that still comes out in him. And I do tell him off for it. And let me tell you, it comes out hard. So yesterday, when he told me that he spit in this guy's face, he said about me still talking to him. Well, you know, I communicate with people on a telepathic level, but it's that part of, no, I don't go talk to him. So it's that part of, I know you two have a one another. And part of me wonders is because of something that my ex-husband shared with me a while ago and what this other person explained to me. I can't help but wonder if my ex-husband unknowingly is the father of this guy. Because right now I look and they both look much alike. And it's that part, I look back at the story of Once Upon a Time series and see, because this guy said that he was not going to let anybody hurt. And when I look back at the series Once Upon a Time, after Emma breaks the curse, the Dark One gets her to go with him to find his son. So they found him. And in the series, when they found him, well, Emma had gone to jail because the guy that she was with left her to take the fall for some watches, stolen watches. And then she went to prison for it, and she found out in prison that she was pregnant. She was 18 at the time in the series. And Rumpelstiltskin, the Dark One's son, was that guy, the father of her child. And the son hated his father because he chose power over family. Let's see, the son wanted to take the magic bean and go to another realm without magic. So they were going, and when the portal started opening, Rumple, he backed out and he let go of his son's hand. So his son went to a world without magic, which would be represented here. He found him. And when there was an altercation, when he was like, he didn't come. And then Rumpelstiltskin started hollering at Emma and was going to get, if he was going to get violent with her. And then his son, Neil, came in and, I'm not going to let you hurt her. So when we look at things, and I have, I know another person, they were friends with this person, but they talked behind their back. But It was that part of, if you want to throw shade on somebody else because they're an alcoholic or a drug addict or whatever type of addict, but you had had the same experience, that's when you really need to go more inward. Because it's that part of you yourself should know better because you know what it's like to have to get off the shit. There's alcoholics and drug addicts that are functional. Are they just functional when they're working? Because they may not even they may be functional working, but are they functional in the home stretch? See, we separate ourselves from influences. Okay, if you got off of alcohol or drugs or what have you, then you tend to stay away from people who are using. But it's that part of don't talk about their use if you had the same. Not even talk about their use, even if you hadn't, because then you would have to realize that you have to walk a mile in their shoes to understand why they are addicted to a substance. See, addictions come from a societal thing. Okay, I'm going to use this because I've seen it again that the British or the English or what have you, it was said they brought the alcohol to them, to the indigenous community. And I say to that, okay, they brought it to you, but did they really know that we were going to become addicts or alcoholics? Because it was us who chose to drink it. So that's the part of, as long as you keep throwing shit at who brought what and who did what and what have you, you're not going to come to truth and reconciliation. Because truth and reconciliation is realizing that both sides did it to one another, whether they want to believe it or not. One was of like the medicinal drug, like the more of um, plant medicine, but plant medicine can become addictive if it's used wrong. It's the same as indigenous communities with alcohol, okay, as the same with the plants, like ayahuasca, the cocaine plant, what have you. I know that it's been manipulated and what have you, but the cocaine plant and all that, the indigenous communities were using those things, and white man uses it now. So how's that any different to the alcohol? It's no different. There's big stuff going on about fentanyl. I know a young man who was in his late teens. They were out partying, and he took fentanyl. And he went in the car, backseat of the car, and died there. And I've known them since they would have been born because they're from where I am. And it's a part of, you don't see it until it's at home, on your home doorstep putting in. Fentanyl is a prescription drug. So I have to say, where does a lot of addiction, if it has to do with opiates? It usually starts from your medical system, right? The medical community won't look at it that way. I guess the spirit's taking me in a whole other direction. In every direction. So, because of what was supposed to be a controlled substance and was never supposed to be given on a regular basis, it's that part of people say, well, the people took it. Yes, the people took it. But it's a part of the medical community was the one that prescribed it and said it was safe and didn't keep a check on it because they weren't supposed to be giving it the way they were. I just heard somebody say, are you an anti-vaxxer? I'm a person who believes that it is your choice whether you want to have a vaccine or not. With stuff that I've been observing, I had somebody close to me that I've known their whole life died from a side effect from the vaccine, and he was 31. I believe that, not just believe, I know that we were able to heal ourselves through spirit. And I know that there's some that, they don't like when you say that. They don't like when you say that word because they look at you as like when I say spirit, I'm talking about the part of doing the inner work so that we don't talk about one another the way we do. Seeing our own indifferences. I'm going to encourage people, go watch the series on Prime, Utopia, John Cusack. I'm not saying that certain vaccines haven't done good, but there are certain vaccines that have been passed that never should have been because they weren't tested properly. They were rushed on the people. And then in many cases, some would say they were forced on the people because their livelihoods were threatened. Because, see, the thing is, vaccines are there to protect you, right? They're there to help you. So if they're there to help you and you got the vaccine, then why are you worrying about somebody else not having it? if they get whatever it is that the vaccine's supposed to cover, then I guess that's on them, right? Like a few times over the years, I got the vaccine for the flu shot. I got the flu shot, and with regards to the COVID vaccine, to some that's a taboo. Don't say COVID; you'll get violated. Oh well, if I get violated for saying the word COVID, then they're violating my freedom of speech. I got one, and I didn't want to get it. Somebody just said, "So why did you?" Because I guess I had to see for myself what everyone was talking. At first, it was like, somebody else convinced I got one person to try to convince me because they knew, like, of one or the other. And they said, hey, you get it, and I'll build you one of those, a sweat lodge type thing. Well, I got it, and I never got my sweat lodge. But at first, that's what I was like. I was going to do it, and then it was like, no, I couldn't. I couldn't go back out. And then my ex-husband, he started having his bad cough the night before, or what have you. And it was like, okay, I'm going to get it because he kept saying that it was my patriotic duty. Someone's patriotic duty to protect himself in that sense. Okay? And somebody didn't like me saying that. But you jumped before I finished. It's our patriotic duty to have all the facts before you try to push something on someone. So when I went in to get the vaccine, I bawled the whole time. I was afraid for myself. I was afraid for my safety because I was hearing that they were coming after people like myself, which is kind of like the Holocaust with the Jewish community. They were gassed, and I feel like there was injections too. So, they were doing it after World War One, vaccines, because they said it was the Spanish flu, but it happened until the military came back. Seriously, men want to throw shit at women and say women don't know jack shit, but women know a hell of a lot more than what you give them credit for, and you might want to wake up to that. Because when a man taps into that wisdom and what have you, you're tapping into your feminine, whether you want to believe that or not. So, see, with men, when they do it, they feel like they can be superior over the woman. And that the woman is the one that you know. I'm not saying it's all. I'm talking about men. I'm not talking about a, I'm talking about a man. See, you look right now and the way things are going, women are very traditional, but maybe those traditional women have a gentleman for a husband and not a man. So they're happy being traditional because they're treated as an equal. When you come to what we perceive to be the modern, it becomes with men and they have no respect for women because it's a gentleman who has respect for a woman because they know how to connect from them. They're not afraid of their emotions. And when I said that, Tim didn't like that word emotions. Emotions, that's a taboo. You know, when you get that clawing in the guts, that's your emotion saying, I need to experience itself. So there's a lot of it now, like, and women are bad, like on the other spectrum, women are bashing men. They're saying they hate men. I see this one woman, she comes on, she's really got to hate on for men, and she found it very difficult to compliment a man. But it's that part of, you know, there's a difference between a man and a gentleman. A man has no respect, whereas a gentleman does. Some women, like you see it as women have no respect, but a lady does. A woman is how you look. A lady is how your behavior is. The same as a man is what your physical body looks like. And a gentleman is how you treat people, how you act, how you are. So there's times when my ex-husband, he's very, like, he can be polite when he burps and he'll say, excuse me, and he'll do it very calmly. And then there's times where he's just one ignorant. I just got the word pig because it's that word. It's like, like seriously, or he'll just like belch it right out, and you know he's doing it to be fucking ignorant. Yesterday, when like when he said about spitting the guy in the in spitting in the guy's face, the other guy's face. See, in the morning when I get up and I went upstairs, and he says to me, he says, "I don't want to fight anymore. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight anymore." But then when we got in the car, Oh, he's pissed off. I can tell when he does stuff like that. When we got in the car, he, why don't you say a little louder so everybody else can hear you? Because I know what you threw down at me because I could feel it. So, tú dices que dapat ko kaya asaloy? My word ain't worth shit. Okay. Well, my word is worth shit. Oh, I can feel it coming down on me. But he doesn't hear when I say about what I'm like to him. I'm getting an eviction notice. Okay. So it's that part of, when we do it to one another. And these are things that he don't hear. Um, yeah, it does, but you're not doing it to be excused. You're doing it with your man. Well, if I'm out of here, man, well, would you like me to contact the tenancy board? And now he's saying that I'm disrespectful. I'm my parts of me too. And I can feel that coming at me. When you can feel energy, you can feel it coming at you. There's times when I've been narcissistic myself, but I can admit to it. It's that part of, no, he wasn't. He didn't say, excuse me. He does it when he's in a pissed off mood. So I know that, I'm talking about this and this demeanor just changed again. See, the thing is, he was the one that told me sometimes you got to speak the language. He's still up there. Like I can feel it. He's throwing disdain and hate at me right now. He's casting spells on me. And I know that it's different forms of spirits coming in because the ones that are connecting on here and seeing this, they don't like the way I'm talking. Because he didn't hear me say the part about that he'd be a gentleman and say, excuse me. It's the part of you only hear what you want to hear. Or what you think you hear. Got a thing going up there, and I can feel the frequency of it, and it's a bad frequency. And right now, I have a lot of crying inside. I can feel the crying because there's people on here that are resonating with what they're witnessing me experiencing. because, I do experience the switch in people's behaviors. I experience it in my own. And up there, right now, he blurred the TV. It's that part of, if I had a place to go, I would go because he's obviously not getting it. He's pissed off. So this is why he's doing what he's doing right now. That's a narcissist. So whatever spirit is attached to him right now is a narcissist. And that spirit knows no problem. Right now there's a lot of crying and I can feel it in my body because I know it's people in here that have and may even be going through it. It's that instant feeling at the moment because I can feel it in my own body. See, people only hear the, like the negative stuff that people say about them, and they don't hear any good stuff. See, he doesn't usually do this when I'm live on my podcast, even if he does comment sometimes. He doesn't usually do this. So right now it's extremely intense. But see, right now I'm counteracting it. I'm using remove negative energy for myself and my home. But he's doing, and it's time that people realize what we're working with, what's going on. It's a spirit to spirit, and that's why we can't get out of our own way and out of our own slumber, out of our own pain and suffering. It's worth frequencies. See, he's trying to get me to react right now, but spirit's keeping me centered. It all goes back to beyond ancient times. But it's the same as like women do it to women, even in relationships, because it becomes the part sometimes that one wants to be dominant over the other, opposed to being equal and sharing responsibilities with each, whether, you know, however it may be, and having that appreciation. Do I struggle to have respect for him? Yes, I do. But I do show him respect. But it's when he doesn't show me respect that I show the same form of respect. Because yesterday he blamed me for starting the fight or the argument. And I didn't start it at all. I just made a comment back that he did one. But I do know that sometimes he does look to get a fight. But it's that part of, if you don't want to fight, then why the fuck are you picking at me like my brother or something? Seriously, that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like a brother picking on the sister. See, when people watch my channel, they listen to bits and pieces of it, or they just come in on a certain piece and it gets their nose in the joint because they don't hear the rest. And right now, the job is about, and how do I know it's the job? Because of the whistle. Because my ex-husband has told me that when coyotes are about to surrender prey, they begin to whistle. Honest with him and told him that, I care about you, but I know that we're not supposed to be in a relationship together because I don't even like the same music. There's 15 years in the difference. And he's stuck in the year that I was born. Certain stuff he listens to, I like, but we don't like the same movies or anything, same shows, nothing. And for any type of relationship to work, you need to have that common. You need to have those things in common with one another. Yes, you have something that they like to do and you don't, or what have you. But the majority of it is that it's things in common so that you can do things together. It's that part of I know he's a weak, is what I know. Is there a part of him that I love? Yes, there is. And there's a part of me that, wanted it to work. And that part that says, it's not meant to be. He has a grudge on the world, people, and I don't. I want to help people, and he says about the human race. The only reason why he says about the human race is because he's been here for an extremely long time. So it's a part of, he doesn't hear the rest. I told him last night, like with regards to my youngest son's father, I told him that when I was with him, I did love him. Hence the word did. Do I care if anything happened to him? Fuck yeah, I would care if anything happened to him. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't I? He shared a big part of my life, and that was my son. But I probably couldn't say the same of how he would feel for me because of, the way it's been. But it's that part, I don't care. It's still not a change how I feel about it. So do I care if anything happened to my youngest son's father? Yes, I would, because it's my son's father. Whether we have any difference or not. And why would I care? Because my son cares. Did I expose stuff about him? Yes, I did. And I even said, like, one night, I started drinking at, it was like, I was 15, 16 when I started, like, really drinking. And I would drink to the point where I had alcohol poisoning. And he would take me to the hospital, and I would punch on his chest because I couldn't breathe. And the doctor would do nothing because she was an addict. And she was a doctor. She was an addict of her pills. She had her own past. Whatever it was that drew her to become the way she became. Someone lost her life because of her addiction. But it's due to the incompetence of the systems. And the ones we put in charge. Because I was watching a thing where this with Robert Kennedy and a female senator or something like that. She's saying about the vaccines, and come to find out, she was making money off it. Bernie Sanders, he was saying to Kennedy about the vaccines, and Kennedy did make a good point that he said, like, Bernie Sanders saying he got it from the people or from the work or what have you. But then at the end of it, he said, well, like, I got 1.5 million out of 200 million. It's like, dude, you just fucking admitted that you were taking money from it. It's like, that's where you cross refer, and that's where you come to the balance of the truth of what, just like we tried to justify 1.5 million wasn't much out of 200 because it was out of 200 million. Well, whether it was 5 cents, they're saying with the immigrants, you know, you're here illegally, so you're a criminal. Like shit, man. Is that part of, I scroll through these things so that I can cross reference and see that, okay, I see where Kennedy's coming from with a lot of stuff. But does it mean I fully trust him? No, because of the people he's working with. Before he decided not to go for president, because he was going for president, but for some reason, and I'd like to know the reason why, because he said that it would be more powerful for him if he decided went with Trump. Seriously, dude, you don't believe in yourself? You're a lawyer and you do environmental stuff, and Donald Trump is a slumlord. His places might be fancy, but his father was a slumlord. It's a part of, maybe people would have voted for you. And you can't say you were a traitor to the people because you hadn't got in, but you were showing people what you wanted to do. In the end, you became a traitor to yourself. I did a video yesterday about a cake that was sitting on my table for over a month, and there was very little mold on it. And someone had commented about it, about like how like mold growing, and it takes 5 to 7 days for a cake to really start molding in the fridge. So it would take a lot less time for a cake sitting on the counter to mold. They would mold faster because it's exposed to the air. Kita put it to who should have that? Plus, it had frosting on it. Like, yesterday I went out to Harvey's and I had a burger, a veggie burger, and a large poutine, and I ate it all. But I don't go out and get a lot of that. Sometimes, like I'll go to certain restaurants and it's too refreshing. They get the food, and how you see their pictures when they bring you the food, it actually looks like the pictures. Unlike fast food places where they show you these beautiful pictures of the burgers, and you get it, and it's nothing but slop. But you're paying for what you see in the picture. Harvey's, you make your own burger. So my burger looks pretty good. You tell them what you put on it, but at like the other places, you get jack shit on it. I can get a veggie burger combo with a large poutine, or with a poutine, or maybe even a large poutine for $16, and have a good looking burger and one that actually tastes good and doesn't look like it was thrown across the room. There is like a lot of different things happen right now, and I put a lot of it in my on my, I've saved it so that I can refer back to it. I even went and looked up about how much, like, net worth some of the Trump family members have. And I found it very interesting because, like, Barron is worth 76 million. He's 18. And he owns 2 or 3 homes. One of them being Mar-a-Lago. See, the thing is, I have to ask, did Trump put some of these houses in his son's name to protect himself? Because didn't everybody say that, the Mar-a-Lago place was Donald Trump's? And I did, because he likes to talk about women. And he's much like my ex-husband in that sense, with regards to when it comes to, the money and divorces. My ex-husband divorces. He was married twice. But see, the thing is, whether some of you don't believe in divorces or not, the paper makes it happen, okay? But mentally, they don't feel like they're divorced. But see, the thing is, the next thing that truly makes it final is when you die. And see, the thing is, I died in 2019. So that makes my divorce legal, even in the eyes of God. And I'm not saying, no, don't die, okay? Because not everybody sees things like that. Because in actuality, you sign a paper and then it gets, so it makes it legal. But it's that part of, I will say, there should never have been, it had to have been a legal document placed into a marriage. Because all that legal document does is give rights to somebody else. It's not about, like, not getting any financial assistance if you part. But it's that part of, when you marry, it's not the business of the state or the province or the country. It is between you, that person, and God, which is your heart. The connection that you have to one another, not to a system. It's not that somebody else can tell you whether or not he'll marry you or not. It's not about somebody standing in front of you and saying a whole bunch of stuff before you say I do. What matters is the vows you say to one another and whether or not you uphold them. Whether it be in a marriage, a friendship, a relationship with anything. There's a marriage of love, a marriage of business, but they put contracts because, well, they figure nobody's works good for it, but no, that's not how they put contracts. A lot of contracts, if you look at them, there's a whole lot of stuff in there that most people don't even read. And the only ones that know what's in there, the ones that wrote it and are in charge of it. Whether it be a woman or a man. Because in all honesty, it's both. Que se puede. Elemento protocolar que se olvidó. Secreto porque el poco se puede dar el equipo que creamos sobre sí. Que te was like Christ was a man first. You see him as Yeshua or you know, Zeus, because Zeus was Jesus. He didn't like people. Just ones that were like him. But I'll tell you, he didn't like the systems no more than anybody else did. But the thing was that he got caught in his own will. And that's the masculine aspect of a lot of things too. And sometimes it can be that spoiled child. Zeus had the gift of healing. He just struggled to tap into it. And that's why when Jesus went to Jerusalem or Israel, you know, I'm not familiar with the Bible, but when he went there, that's why he couldn't do it. Because it was Yeshua, the one who was connected. And, you know, with regards to the crucifixion, did Jesus raise on his own? Or like the story of Lazarus, Yeshua brought him back to life. So could that one happen for Jesus? Because it wasn't, you know, his fault. And I put a thing up about that. Holy. One of my buttons just popped out and I gotta find it here in a bit. So, you know, it's in that, and what are people saying about the crystals? Great. They say that the crystals is Christ, right? It's consciousness. They were fighting over Pandora's box. They were fighting over hope. And when you look back at Cain and Abel, it was said that God chose one over the other. So were they fighting over? Was it over a woman? Was it over hope? Because it wasn't just them that wanted to control like hope or suppress hope. And it's the same as with us. It's those parts of us trying, the ego trying to control hope because it's afraid to experience hope. So, when we step back and, you know, imagine those people. Yeah, I know people are saying she has her fingers like that. Yes, I do. Because it's part of the enlightenment. It's part of knowing things. And it can be on what is a massively like shit show here, tyranny. Or it could be like it's the part of realizing revelations, realizing truth. And what somebody says to another person about someone else, it may not be true. But it's that part of, maybe before you believe it, you might want to do a little hold. Like with me, with stuff. I say about like certain things that Donald Trump says that makes a whole lot of sense. To say with Robert Kennedy, somebody, and sometimes it's just like, what the fuck? The biggest thing for me that Donald Trump did was regard to the immigration, because you might want to look at history, because their families weren't immigrants. Their family came here, and the colonies tried pushing them out. When I was at Harvey's last night, I ended up having to go to the bathroom because I started crying. And one of the female employees came in, the one that served that took my order. She came in the bathroom, and she didn't have to stop because she had to go back. She had to use the washroom, but she didn't go right in. She asked me if I was okay. She got me some paper towel. She told me just breathe, and she was an immigrant for what you perceived to be an immigrant. I know that Spirit did that to send her in there for me because I was in distress over something that really bothered me. So it's that part of before you go shit and see they need to be kicked out, that they're criminals. You really might want to look at their records. Some of them may be, but it's not like the criminals on the list. It's some of the biggest criminals. You hired them for the country. It's that part of looking at all parts of it. bringing out the parts that help everyone. And that's where it starts with us. It's like, yeah, weaning out the corrupt ones and holding them accountable for their actions and thought. Whether they think that, well, Bernie Sanders, you admitted to taking 1.5 million out of 200 million after you said that you didn't. And JFK, I question and stuff too. Or not JFK, Robert Kennedy. Sorry, JFK. But I've seen what they bring to be good, and it's that part of, figuring out, are they doing it to do good, or are they still having an ulterior motive? Because in all honesty, I really don't think that you should be having wealthy people running your country or state or, territory, whatever. Well, you know, it's not about like going and trying to like burn things down and stuff like that. Because it's not the building, it's what resided within it. So if a lot of dirty stuff went down, is it about burning the building down, or is it about going in and helping the energy to heal and move forward? Because that's what's in there. See, I was watching a thing. They weren't even allowed to open up the windows in the White House, and they weren't allowed to open up the car windows when they were driving. Is it true? You know, I wouldn't put it past, because they'd say, well, you can't open the windows because if someone comes in through the window, well, if somebody wants to come through, they're going to come in through the window. Do you not realize that's control? It's actually suppressing. Your governments were put in place to work for the people and work together. And all I see right now are them fighting and arguing with one another, looking like a bunch of children in a playground. And they're fighting over who's king of the castle and who's the dirty rascal. Well, the ones that are the king of the castle are the ones that aren't cheating and scamming the systems that they're supposed to be there to help the people with. And I'm seeing it both in women and men. It's a shit show. Some would say a circus. Why is it a circus? Because they're scrambling to cover their own asses. And it's on both sides. See, I heard a thing that Elon Musk said something to someone about exposing them if they didn't do a certain thing. You know, man, Donald talk about a criminal. Elon Musk was a criminal for trying to blackmail somebody. Didn't like that, huh? Purista puto tayo sui. Spirit to spirit, you know, and those spirits know who I'm talking to. They just happen to reside in the names of certain people that are affiliated with this. Ito por eh, sumukusyo lang sa CBI. So I say, sometimes I know that it's like my ex-husband is a version of Donald Trump. He'll go and say about his marriage and what have you. Yeah, he has a good marriage. He has a good marriage because, you know, he can go out and do whatever he wants and hump as many women as he wants and, you know, hurt them and everything like that. And she wouldn't say shit. She had most. Maybe she's doing the same thing. Maybe they have an open marriage that's giving the perception that making people believe that they have this happy marriage, and it's not just them. It's many what you perceive to be regular people, because you know they're just as regular as everybody else. Only they want to say they're holier than thou. When Donald, they were not money. I don't mean Donald. I'm talking to that spirit. You, you say you're for Jesus and what happened? Yeshua or what happened? Okay, you wouldn't call it Yeshua because Yeshua would be Jewish, right? You didn't like that. Hey, I have a long line of rabbis in my family, back 11 generations, not back to the 11th generation, but 11 generations. And Christians, and Catholic, and Lutheran, Protestant, Pentecostal, Evangelical, you know, it's the same thing as a man and woman will, it's the same thing. Doesn't matter if it's just pertaining to a man or a woman. It's pertaining to everything else too, because it's a religion and a religion, or an ethnic background and an ethnic culture and another ethnic culture, one belief system and another belief system. So it's that part where I'm saying that we're talking about each other. When I look on and I scroll through TikTok and I see big, like lots of people coming together in unity for the same thing, because you're no longer distracted with the other things that's thrown in the middle of seeing the bigger overall picture. You know, if you had asked me when this all started, I would have felt like when I thought it was a curse. Yes, I would have. But as I started doing the inner work and the realizations and the analyzing before judging first, sometimes you do so jump, but then I quickly stop and reevaluate and see it from all the different aspects of it. Sometimes, but for some reason, I don't know why, it's like I have a spirit that is, it comes and it's afraid. Like when I'm around, when I come around, like certain times, I come around with somebody with a lot of tattoos. I get reserved and freaked out by it. I start getting a panicky. But I was never really like that because I look at people's tattoos. Sometimes I look at some tattoos and it's like I wonder now, like where were they at in their journey when they decided to get that tattoo? Some people they'll do it because of pain. I had somebody tell me that it's a part of trying to why they wanted, what happened that they felt like they wanted to feel that pain. Did that pain keep them from seeing what it was that spirit was trying to show them for themselves? And sometimes, yes, you just want to feel. And I'll say what I've said before, that if you like to feel pain, you'll find others that like to feel pain and experience it together, and then see how long you like to feel pain. Because eventually, you will want that pain. So, like I told my ex-husband, if you're going to be with somebody, and it's somebody you think I'm still talking to, then it's that part of, it's time for you two to sort your shit out and keep everybody else up. Like, it's that part of, if he is my ex-husband's son from when my ex-husband was a lot younger, then seriously, sort it out. And not through me or anybody else. It's like two people fighting for status. And right now, everybody's looking to fill that status of king. It's like the stuff that they didn't teach you in school, they expected you to learn it in university. They're teaching modern. They're 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 teaching people the modern ancient. But they're hiding the stuff from the ancient civilizations because they're not bringing it forward. And some of that is man humble and his woman. Some people we didn't learn about the Tartarians. People say, well, that was the wealthy. Was it the wealthy? Or was it actually that everybody knew how to connect with their creativity? They knew how to work with one another. Because did the Tartarians really? It's back. Because it's very what people would perceive as demonic stuff, what he has on TV. And it was right after I got this book out. So there's Teslas. Thank you, Tesla. Right there. And they destroyed it. It was an ego. It's about bringing things, because all the real technology is there. It's just suppressed with the public. But the biggest part is that you are the true technology because you create it. Your energy within yourself. Kisangani, sure it's like so we did have hormones, and there were giants then too. And whether people want to, believe that or not, or is it, there are pictures. I just heard she just noticed. Statue of Liberty. They changed the Statue of Liberty. Oh shit! Yeah. Look at the They replaced it with a book. Oh shit! Yeah, they did. Purita Purisidita. Watch this. See? Flame. And it's book there. One sec. Oh shit, turn it this way. Oh shit. Sorry, just one sec. That didn't work. It wasn't even a flame. I believe that would have been the true Statue of Liberty. And they're showing it that way. Oh, maybe it wasn't. No, just one. Yeah. Yeah, because it does look like it has a crown on, but not with spikes. Ow! Crap! Questo potere alla mototorie comuniciata. Si tu riesci la question, si tu sorry, I gotta fix my trousers. Spirit got me to buy a pair of straight legs pants. I was in the morning. So I got a pair of straight leg jeans. I don't like wearing them with sneakers though. And sometimes they feel odd. But for certain foods I can. So I my as I become more and more enlightened, my whole self changes, like my clothes and stuff. I still got my blood on today. So it's like, what do you put to the bria? But yeah, everything is not the way it was. It's been manipulated and changed. Okay. This bird in the staff represents heaven and earth because the birds fly in the heavens and the staff grounds to earth. Think of Yeshua. Think of, like, Nikola Tesla. He was around a lot of birds. Maybe my ex-husband is a spirit of Nikola Tesla because, but I think he's more of Odin because the approach. But he is, um, if you look at his birthday, well, Elon Musk, if you look at the separate calendars, Elon Musk is on the 28th, which would represent the same day as July 10th, as June 28th. They represent the same birthday. And I believe I know there's no such thing as coincidence. It's just synchronicities. Because this is one significant than what I'm experiencing within this relationship. It's more than a synchronicity. Because whoa, because I pay attention quite well to a lot of things. It's that part of, don't assume that people are not paying attention. It's what not to do. I sit and I watch my great niece. She's just so attentive. She's taking in everything. And my other great niece, they're just so, like, at that age, they're connected. So at that age, a system that doesn't want evolution will do whatever they can to suppress. I listened to one of the senators or on the senator in the government. She was talking about having a 35-year-old son who had cerebral palsy or something like that. And she started talking about autism, about vaccines helping with autism. Okay, I'm going to be honest, I don't believe for a minute that a vaccine is going to help anyone with autism. Because autism, if you want to look at it in a different way, autism is autosensitive, it's overstimulation, it's sensitivity to everything and all noises around you, even the ones that you can't hear. So it can be very debilitating. And that's why you see them sometimes. Shut up! Because they're overstimulated. They're moving too fast in order to be calm because they're all over the place at the same time. So they're seeing things that we don't see. So when you can bring them to a balance, they're extremely intelligent. But see, a form of system don't want that because they're always connected with God's source spirit. Because they're moving so fast. That's why they bounce from one thing to another. People say about ADHD. Well, ADHD is much the same, except ADHD is more of spirits coming in all at once and wanting to do something. So it can't center because it's trying to learn everything all at the same time. And that's why it's in the sky. It's like they're being pulled in all different directions and they can't find their direction. If we give them pills, which actually doesn't help them, it suppresses them. And forms of the systems know that. And that's why they give them their drugs. Some people can, it's like some people say they can think and can help to find it and integrating certain frequencies that can help the brain to rewire itself, where it can compute everything all at the same time without being scrambled. Like when you have a static in a radio receptor or what have you. If you have that, then the sounds are just gonna like it's gonna be that you can't tune into any one thing because there's so much static and it's all over the place. You can have where you're in between stations and you're hearing from one, you're hearing from the other, and sometimes you're even overlapping. Vedete, pure adesso, se conosce se adesso lui and this is the part where you're experiencing the feminine and masculine balancing when you're working and coming together on common knowledge and common ground and coming to the understanding and both seeing it. And that's where you have the two eyes, which is separate from one another, the raw and the tortoise. Okay? And then you have the center, which is the two brothers and the mother. Yeah. Well, the mother father, because it's integrated. But I'm getting used to putting it that way. You align it all. That's the part in Revelation when they say about the seven seals. The seven seals is the alignment within yourself. You break each barrier to move to the oneness, the connection, the simplicity, the freedom. Because there's intelligence up there and there's intelligence down there. And there's two different forms of technology. One is AI and one is the alpha. And the alpha would be the full connection and relying on source itself. So when we stop doing the women men bashing each other or men and women, it's having a look on both sides, and that is the true feminism. Not this radical stuff that people are dividing and everything like that, and bashing men and saying that they're all pigs and everything. And it's not that they're pigs, it's they're misguided. Some like to be that way. But I'll be honest, my ex-husband doesn't like to be that way. Like he says certain things because it's a part of, when you know something's wrong and you stand up for it. I'll be honest, what you end up experiencing, it's like that wrath of God. It's your heart also experiencing it because you know it's wrong. I did a video because the other day, like I went to I went and got my eyebrows done, and I laughed without pain. I was talking to the woman in the room, and we were talking on the way out, and I just walked right to the store, and I got down the hallway, like down the mall, and I realized, like, wait a minute, I'm in bed. And I even said that when I went back, I heard the receptionist say to another client, she left without paying, which she should never have even said that to the client. It's called customer service and customer privacy. And then I went down to Winners, and like my inner, like parts of me was saying, just keep going. It's like, no, I can't. Like, I went back. I would have got a phone call anyways, because I mean, and saying that to a client about me leaving without paying. For one, you should not have even said that, and you had called me to let me know that I had forgot to pay. It's not just a shame or shade. It's just no for next time, because they did tell me that they had a woman in the week prior who forgot to pay. And I went to Winners and I got my stuff. I got up to the register and counted the total and kind of went like that, and I paid, and I left, and I got out in the car and I looked at the receipt, and I didn't see the price of the boots on there. And I was like, I didn't pay. They didn't charge me for boots. So I thought, okay, I left. I did leave. But my inner consciousness wouldn't let me get fired, because it was a part of me saying, oh, well, they took the tags off, and you get it for free, just go home. But I couldn't. And I turned around. I wasn't even like a kilometer off the road. I was about, well, yeah, I wasn't even a kilometer up the road. And I went back in and I told them, like, hey, you forgot to charge me for my boots. I told them that I even told them that I had left and started driving. But like, some people, they would have just kept going. But I went back and I paid for them, because even if these big corporations have insurance or what have you, sometimes it can reflect on the the clerk themselves. And I know that it was like, whether it was a setup or what, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think it may have been because I think she might have dawned on her that when I left, that she didn't charge for boots, and I think they had a bad one saying didn't think that I would come back, and the other one said she'll be back, and I was back. And when you do that, it lets it just it lets because my goodness, if I had went home, it would have been so heavy on me, and it would have been at my guts, because it was like a clawing and it wanted to get over my back. So, solo siya nakisilueta purihay. Yesuro tatay. So it's that part of, realizing and understanding that, it happens And to say that it wouldn't happen to you, in all honesty, you can't really guarantee that because it happens within the moment. If you're like, say you're in maybe, financial stress and something like that happened to you, but you really wanted those boots. But hey, you felt like, I just have to feel, I'll just keep going. When you start feeling that clawing sensation in your body, that's your body telling you, no, 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 you go through this, it's going to hurt you. Because I could feel, like, literally feel like it was trying to jump out and run back. And I can feel things sometimes when it feels like it's trying to jump out and run away from certain situations. And it's like, no, we got to work through this. That's you. That's the part of, that's the part of you, part of us, what have you. So it's a part of, learning how to catch ourselves when we become judgmental in a critical way, or in a way where when we're seeing a piece of something and not the overall picture. To what you witnessed today, you know, when those things happen, I know what I'm experiencing, and I know when to like fight back, but I'm not going to throw the energy into sleep. It's just taking this, just because I know what he's experiencing and what I'm experiencing, and I know what I'm experiencing, and I'm not using it as an excuse. When he starts banging, because usually I can't even hear him doing it, so it's not part of something that's going on. It's like when we get up and getting loose and breathing. It takes a lot of courage for someone to admit to their own wrongdoing, to their own handling things when something, when an argument or something breaks up. Because yeah, sometimes I don't know why, sometimes I don't see it. But maybe it's because I put up with it for so long. And I tell them, I guess I learned from the master, didn't I? riqueza, né? Deixa eu ver se eu lembro coisa. Maybe Mary Magdalene learned her healing abilities from Yeshua and the way to stand up for herself through Jesus. So it's like they're both of them. Hey, one needs to start like standing up for itself, and then the other one needs to learn how to learn how to like heal himself. Because some people will say, "Well, you're pretty freaking wicked." Well, oh well. Like I said, I guess I must have learned it from the master. But you can only master yourself. It's I know a lot of times things just come out, but sometimes you can analyze them before they come out and word it in a different way, where it's going to be more powerful, not in a way to want to hurt someone, but in a way to show them how it hurts. Because it's taking your own energy and giving it back. Have you ever watched the series Charmed? Okay, in the episode where it was the warlock or something, and it kept doing stuff, and then they had the way to because it's a cat, and the way to defeat him was to make him feel his own pain, the pain, all the pain that was inflicted on other people. And that's what that warlock would push people had put back on them. So it's that part of if the Yeshua, the healer, and Jesus was the one that was listening to people and taking on their energy as a human, so we can see him as human because he couldn't quite become enlightened. So he was feeling that pain. He was taking on everyone else's pain and got grumpy about it. And then the last test was, would you say the truth? Because it was the part of, what he was standing up for. People didn't like it standing up for him, but when it came to standing up for him or them, Nobody was there. Was he perfect? No. He even said he wasn't. We came here to be perfectly imperfect. That's just what I heard. He said we could do it. There shouldn't be anything right. At least said to put it to everyone could do it. So for the next and I can feel that. It's like this emotion is in ways I think they were jealous of him. Because maybe Yeshua wanted to know how to stand up for himself. And maybe Jesus wanted to find that balance of not having to carry the weight of the world. So now I'm going to say with, oh, I just saw for a second maybe if Jesus was carrying the weight of the world on his back, and it was said that Cronus was made to carry Pandora's box on his back, then maybe Jesus was Cronus. Let's ask that question. And I don't see anything wrong with asking it. Because think of St. Christopher too. Was St. Christopher carrying Yeshua? Probably not. Or was he? Because see, the thing is, St. Christopher was said to have carried Jesus. The devil wants that. Okay? And they said that St. Christopher had the face of like a dog. Well, how many of you knew that possibly Katie represented a kingdom? At the originals, the series, the originals, or if you look at the series Vampire Diaries, you have the ones of the heaven, which people said they were very wolfers. And then you have the ones of the earth, which would be the animals. So it would be like a wolf. Come as a jaguar or a coyote. So they say that, like in vampire diaries, okay, what they class as hybrid, okay, it's someone that would have been human that was turned into a night walker that was also turned into a werewolf. People say that's taboo. Okay, or that's fiction. Well, see, back when I was first coming into this enlightenment in 2020, I was in my bathroom and I was talking in spirit to spirit with Kane. I was envisioning him as a wolf, a lone wolf. And wasn't Jesus a lone wolf? See, it's not up to somebody else to create a native wolf. They can help you learn to get that way. And so that it totally lifts, so that you no longer have that weight on your back. And then that weight is put back where it needs to be. It's let go. It evaporated as you look through whatever that weight was. I'm just sitting with it right now because I can feel, the, like I say, the collective, as they call it, because I don't want to call it that. It's, everyone's Christ consciousness connecting and realizing. It's that energy experiencing itself. I was told before, you're ahead of your time. You're ahead of your time. It's like, am I? Or are we just all behind? And I'm just catching it. Today I went to the gym and I did some weights and I did some stretching and I did some meditating right in the gym. It was like, and I was moving my hands too, so people probably would have seen me doing this. So I'm with the bed. Oh, I should because of you. People go crazy. I'll holler all the time. Just when I'm just when something really irritates me and pisses me off when I know it's wrong, or that like I mean yeah, like when it's wrong or it doesn't feel right. I'll rephrase it when it doesn't feel right. So it's that part that sit up and look with AA. There's certain songs that play radio and I will shut them off. And the reason why I shut them off is because they say that it's a family station. Well, that is not a family station if it's playing that. And your children are hearing. Children hear more than what adults hear, and they're more susceptible to the programming. So people say it is what it is. It only is what it is because you say it is, and you don't do anything to try to change it for me. It is what it is. It's like saying you're poor because you're poor, or you're poor because you're not doing what you need to be doing in order to keep you from being poor. And poor doesn't necessarily mean monetary or materialistic, poor in spirit, poor in heart, poor in wisdom, or just in its energy itself. So kind of being rich with yourself over being rich with life. And I felt that some people didn't like me saying that part because, well, to have that, what we perceive to be a monetary, we need to have our health because without health, you have nothing. And I am being honest, without health, you may have people around, but without health, it will keep you stuck in pain and suffering, guilt and shame, ignorance and greed. I'm feeling on people right now that it's lifting. And that lifting is the parts of the epiphanies, the realizations. What is saying? You push this. And I was just, oh, this side. Oh, I do have, it is, oh, that's my hair. I thought my string thing from in the top that you put over the hanger to hold on, I thought that was what was hanging right there. Oh, man. Oh, the pizza. So, I don't come in here to use my experiences because I'm comfortable to be a bitch. Explaining that I'm understand what's happening around. What does the universe want people to know? Six. That's why I struggle with um, high waisted pants. Sorry, I'm just setting this up. So, emotional withdrawal, trapped in fear, sacrifice, patience, alliance, truth and wisdom. Okay. The thing is, she knows she's a fool. I'm one of the biggest fools. I look like one, but okay, so emotional withdrawal. Shoot. Emotional withdrawal. Card represents moving away or withdrawing from a current situation in your life, whether it's an old love, a relationship, or leaving behind once was what was once familiar in search of new horizons or beginnings. On a physical level, it's easy to get caught up in the materialistic world, but it's just as important to retreat from outside world to enable you to pause, reflect, and schedule some alone time so you can commune with your soul and give this power of spirit the opportunity to restore your energy level, giving you the vitality to move forward in a positive direction. The number eight represents infinity, passion, control, and hope. This is your time. Use your opportunity to tap into your heart and soul in order to find the courage and strength to continue your journey into the world of undiscovered territory, the wonderful undiscovered territory. Captain Fear. This card reveals that it's actually your own fear that has you immobilized and trapped, preventing you from making decisions or choices. You are the one who's holding yourself prisoner or hostage. And in order to continue your journey, you must first face your fears so new people and conditions can manifest. Many individuals who choose to stay in this place because they can't see the road ahead, they feel a misguided sense of sensitivity or safety there, or they're afraid of starting something new. By starting by staying will only add to your levels in stress and anxiety and create adverse effects in your physical body. Seek out wise counsel for assistance. You don't have to do this alone, but know that you possess all of the tools that you need to free yourself. You're forgetting. You're strong. You really are. You're strong. You really are. And you are. And we don't give ourselves credit for how much strength we really do have. Yeah, this period will end when you use your mind to cut through the limitations caused by your emotions. The quality of truth. The quality of this card illustrates spiritual awakening, clarity, the revelation of truth. That's why I said revelation, realizing the truth, and cosmic consciousness. At times, it takes a wake up call to get your attention and show how far you need to go. This card comes forth to teach us that evaluation of the past, along with the lessons that you've learned or still need to understand, must now be a top priority. Doing so will enable you to forgive, accept, and heal so that you can move forward in a balanced spiritual mindset. The Truth card reminds you that a significant change must be made in a certain area of your life, but don't make any hasty decisions. Take your time for any choices or alteration must be weighed and evaluated with the most careful and wisest of judgment. Whether whatever steps you take now will have far-reaching consequences, more than you'll ever know. What's the point? Yeah, I don't think so. Where it says whatever steps you take now will have far-reaching consequences. Well, that's either way, but it's telling you like looking at good consequences, depending on how you approach it. Let's do it that way. Using the power of the universe and lending them with a little help from the physical world will assist you in bringing about clarity and a shift of awareness. What was once not obvious will now be realized and understood. Be honest with yourself and trust what you know to be true. When the student is when the student the teacher will appear. This card illustrates that there's a spiritual leader who's about to influence you or step into your life to impart his or her wisdom. around? Is there someone in your life who has the human education, knowledge, and ability to integrate spirituality and look into laws, into the constraints of the physical world? This could be a compassionate person who offers guidance and inspiration and reminds you that you're so much more than a physical being. You're also a spiritual being with unlimited potential. You may have also drawn this card to confirm that it's time to reach out and find organizations or groups of like-minded souls. Being part of a group where you can be yourself, share your thoughts, and get valuable feedback that influence you and encourage you to be all that you can be. Kindred support helps you through life to your highest ideals, finding the true inspiration and enlightenment that's a part of your soul. Over time, the student often becomes the teacher. So don't be surprised when others seek out and find you. This card of wisdom is letting you know that you have so much to share, whether you realize it or not. Partnerships and alliances. The meaning of this card denotes that you're now starting to see the fruits of your labor take seed and blossom. There may still be a lot to do, but watch out for synchronicities, which could bring opportunities to form connections or unexpected alliances that may create something new. These could in assist you in gathering resources for future projects. With all partners, always remember that there has to be an even exchange of energy. If you give too much, whereas other partners gives too little, it will leave you feeling energetically drained, causing potential disharmony in the union. There must be overall balance within the alliance in order for it to work and blend together for optimal results. This card reminds you that success comes in many forms, even from the most unlikely sources. Have an open mind when listening to others. So, with that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone wanting to move into the secret success. I want you all to be big, bold, brave, most importantly, be yourself. Be who you are, not who somebody says you are. Be authentic, be kind to yourself and others. Be truthful to yourself and others. And know that you have more strength than you can cultivate at times. It's that part of you know, I know you. Spirit knows you can do it. And deep down, you know you can do it. Sending you love.